Hello and welcome back, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to another reading of A Starstruck Legacy. This will be Chapter 13, You Reap What You Sow. Here's the summary. It's a bad day to be all for one right now. Smash! As soon as the punch connected, All for One went flying through several walls, leaving a series of holes in the shape of his silhouette. Thanks for getting my mom out, Star, Izuku said. Did you manage to place an order on him? He gestured to the all-for-one shaped holes in the wall. I tried, but he apparently stopped using the name Reiji a long time ago, Star responded. Darn, I should have known he'd do that, Yoichi said. Do you know what other names he could have gone with? Izuku asked. He's been alive for over 200 years. It could be anything at this point. I'll get back to you if I figure it out. Alright, guess it's time for Plan B. Izuku activated Float and flew out of the compound, where he saw All for One standing in the middle of a crater on the ground. Looking up, Izuku also took note of the newscopter recording everything below it, though he had a feeling it wouldn't pick up on any audio. I must admit, you pack quite a punch, All for One calmly said as he charged up a pair of death rays in his hands. But if punching is all those blonde buffoons taught you, then you might as well throw in the towel right now. Oh, they've taught me a lot more than just punching. Izuku activated a combination of 100% full cowling and gear shift in order to lay a dozen kicks on his opponent in the same amount of time it would take a hummingbird to flap his wings. Gah! All for One fell to one knee, having been blindsided by the attacks despite all of his reaction quirks. No matter. Your skill is no match for my sheer power. As All for One's arm swelled up with what looked to be dozens upon hundreds of quirks, Izuku pulled out a pair of goggles from his pocket, strapped them over his face, and called upon new order. I have Shota Aizawa's quirk. Also, I can't blink. Izuku's eyes flashed red, and All for One's arm quickly deflated like a balloon running out of air. He stared at it in disbelief, then at Izuku. How did you... That's not fair! Izuku zipped over to him and buried him in the ground with a single punch. Neither is kidnapping my mother, he said coldly. The villain quickly regained his composure as he pulled himself out of the ground. No matter. I still have more than enough strength and durability mutation quirks to face you. Maybe you do, but I'd be more worried about him if I were you. Izuku pointed up, and All for One paled as his mortal enemy landed right next to Izuku, sporting that idiotic grin that drove the villain mad. Your reign of terror ends here, All for One, All Might announced. Why? Because I am dear! I mean, I am here! All Might tried to keep his composure, but that proved difficult with the looks his nemesis and protege gave him. Darn it, Tsukauchi, he muttered under his breath. All for One let out a full-body laugh. Oh, you absolute buffoon. Even during our final confrontation, you can't even... Texas Smash! Star appeared from nowhere and clocked All for One in the back of the head, sending him towards Izuku. Nebraska Smash! Izuku punched him in the gut and flew him in All Might's direction. Washington Smash! A punch to the abdomen from All Might sent the villain back right to Star, and the cycle continued. Pennsylvania Smash! North Dakota Smash! San Francisco Smash! Delaware Smash! Something, State Capital Smash! Enough already! All for One shouted, to which All Might obliged by grabbing him by the neck and holding on tight. Had enough yet, villain? The hero taunted. Because if you have, then there's a nice cell waiting for you in the deepest depths of Tartarus. Have I had enough? All for One couldn't help but chuckle. Oh, All Might, you may have thought you've saved the day, but you lost the moment you set foot on this field. All Might narrowed his eyes. What are you talking about? Tomura Shigaraki, my protege. You met him at the USJ, but I think you might know him better as Tenko Shimura. All Might's eyes widened in horror. What? What? Nana's vestige repeated, sharing a similar expression. That's right, All Might. All for One grinned wildly. I have crafted the grandson, the very flesh and blood of your master, into the tool of destruction he was always meant to be. You're lying. You know it to be true, All Might. Don't deny it. Through all the people you've managed to save during your lifetime, you've always failed to save those who truly matter to you. All Might's smile fell as tears pricked the corners of his eyes. At the same time, Nana's sobs reverberated through the vestige realm, emotionally shaking Izuku to the core. Suddenly, All Might's sorrow shifted to rage, and he clenched down on All For One's neck. You potato head! He threw him to the ground and began wailing on him with the hardest punches he could muster. All For One didn't seem to mind. In fact, he laughed through the pain. And would you believe that's not even the worst part? That you haven't even seen the consequences of your greatest failure? All Might didn't respond. He just continued sending out smash after smash, each one digging All For One a little deeper into the ground. Nevertheless, the villain continued. You seem eager, so why don't I show you now? Come out, number 7! Suddenly, a yellow figure burst from the compound and slammed onto All Might at top speed, knocking him away from his nemesis. That's it? Just another Nomu? Star asked as she prepared to attack it. All For One got up and dusted off his suit. Not just any Nomu. Look a little closer, why don't you? Upon inspecting the details, Izuku and All Might both paled in horror. The Nomu was colored a dark yellow, with a feminine figure and wings sprouting from its back. But most noticeable of all was the sleeveless black bodysuit and white flowing cape, both noticeably torn and disheveled. Nana? All Might said in disbelief. Oh, it's much more than that. Numbers 1 through 6. Come out! All For One called out, and 6 more Nomu burst from the compound and joined the fray. Oh my lord, Banjo said. It can't be. I think it is. Kudo threw up a little in his throat. It's us, Yoichi emotionlessly stated as he bore witness to the 7 Nomu in front of them, each wearing a tattered version of their counterpart's hero costume. But how? All Might couldn't help but ask. I admit, it was difficult finding all of their bodies. All For One began to monologue. The 4th took ages to seek out, and hardly anything was left of your master's body. But to see those looks of horror, of pure despair on your faces, that makes it all worth it. And now, the fun can truly begin. All For One pointed at the heroes. Nomu, attack! Gah! Izuku jumped back as number 3 lunged at him with a burst of Fajin, numbers 2 and 6 following closely behind. He called upon Black Whip and bounded the 3 of them up, but number 2 managed to escape using Gear Shift and punched him in the gut, sending him flying across the battlefield, where he was caught in midair by one of number 5's Black Whip-like tentacles. What have they done to me? Banjo yelled as Izuku fought his way out of the Nomu's clutches. Smash! Star intervened and punched the Nomu away, letting Izuku safely fall to the ground. These things aren't much tougher than the ones we fought at Hosu, she said as she dodged an attack from number 4, which dodged hers in return. A fire quirk would be real handy to stop the regeneration. But we've both used up all of our orders, Izuku finished as he narrowly avoided a blast of smoke from number 6. I could try going for the brain again, but... Izuku reached out to number 2's brain, but was cut off by a shoulder bash from number 3. There's too much going on. And worse yet, All Might doesn't seem to be taking this revelation well. Glancing over to All Might, Izuku saw him weakly fighting off number 7 as tears streamed down his face. He looked to be in a position where he could kill her, but seemed to be struggling emotionally. All the while, All For One watched from the sidelines, laughing maniacally. Why the heck is he hesitating? Just kill them already, said Kudo. That's not me, Toshi. I'm right here, Nana shouted in a vain attempt at reaching out to him. 2nd and 7th are right, 9th, Hikage spoke. While All For One may have used our corpses, those things are not us. You'll have to kill them. Are you sure? I mean, those are your quirks, Izuku stated as he caught an easily telegraphed punch from number 1. Do what he says, 9th, Bruce reiterated. Those aren't us. They're just lifeless, soulless husks that All For One turned into his slaves. Izuku mentally paused as he delivered a kick to the Nomu's face. Wait, say that part again? What? They're lifeless, soulless? Yeah, right there. I think I have an idea. It's crazy, but it just might work. 9th, now is not the time to be crazy and stupid, Kudo warned. Izuku ignored the voice in his head and pulled out his notebook from somewhere and used the pages to give himself a paper cut on his pointer finger, drawing a small amount of blood. He then leaped over to number 3, karate chopped his hand off, and mixed his blood with the Nomu's before it could regenerate. That's it? A blood transfusion? Kudo said in annoyance. What the heck is that supposed to... Wait, why is Third disappearing from the Vestige Realm? Suddenly, the Nomu sharing Bruce's likeness ceased all movement and fell to the ground. After a few seconds, he got up and slowly felt his body, as if he was completely unfamiliar with it. Oh my lord, I'm alive again! He shouted in Bruce's voice. Yes, it worked! Izuku cheered. Hold on. What did you do? I'm still confused. En asked. That crazy kid, said Yoichi with his jaw hanging wide open. He transferred Third's quirk to the Nomu, and since the quirk came with the vestige, that allowed him to repossess his own body. Oh, me next, Banjo demanded. Sure thing. Izuku focused his eyes on number 5, who was attempting to tie up Star. Bruce, give me a hand here. Right. He quickly did a few squats to charge up Fa Jin, then rocketed himself towards number 5, managing to assist Star in holding him down. Eat this! Izuku punched his slightly bloody hand through number 5's stomach. Thankfully, it regenerated right as Banjo took control. Man, I look awesome! Banjo said as he admired his pitch-black skin, roaring muscles, and dozens of tentacles that spewed out of his arm sockets. Though, I could do without the hunch. Kid, I don't know what you did, but I like it, Star complimented before turning to Banjo. Mind putting those appendages of yours to work, big guy? Oh yeah! He gleefully sent out his tentacles in all directions and ensnared the remaining 5 Nomu. It was at this point that All For One noticed Izuku's plot after number 7 was swiped away from All Might's grasp. What do you think you're doing? Izuku didn't respond, instead used full cowling to zip around and quickly mix his blood with number 2, 4, 6, and 7, whose corresponding vestiges quickly gained control of their own bodies. The moment he came back to life, Kudo observed his own body with disappointment. Why did he reanimate my corpse to be only 2 feet tall? Because I don't like you, All For One answered. Whatever. He pointed at All For One and shouted, Get him! And the 6 reformed Nomu charged at their former tormentor and gave him the beating of a lifetime. All For One really regretted giving them all those strength quirks. Young Midoriya, what is going on? All Might asked, having been too caught up in the angst of being forced to kill his own mentor to keep track of what was happening. I'll explain later, but first I need you and Star to hold that Nomu down. Izuku pointed to number 1, who was still a mindless killing machine. The 2 heroes obliged, and Izuku temporarily dropped the order protecting him from the strain of One For All and replaced it with a new one. Bestowal and Stockpile are now separate quirks. That way, I can bring Yoichi back while keeping the strength-enhancing aspect of One For All, and if I ever need to pass it down for whatever reason, I can just use New Order for that, he explained as he jammed his bloody finger into All For One's wounds, allowing Yoichi to take control. Ninth, you did it! You brought us all back! Yoichi brought Izuku into a hug. Too tight! Izuku cried. Oops, sorry. Guess I don't know my own strength as a Nomu. Hold on, All Might interrupted, his voice shaky with disbelief. All 7 of you are back? Uh-huh, Yoichi nodded. And I think there's someone who's been waiting to see you for a long time. He's gestured in front of him, revealing a nervous yet hopeful-looking Nana. All Might gulped as he held back tears for what seemed like the millionth time that day. Nana? Nana didn't respond, instead flying up to him and enveloping him in a tight hug, which he instantly reciprocated. Nana, I've missed you too much. Me too, Toshi. Me too, Nana responded as she hugged a little tighter. Even though I was so close, even though I watched through the Vestige Realm, even though I saw you rise up and become the symbol of peace, I still felt so far away. But now that I'm here, now that I can hug you in person, it doesn't feel like it's been so long. All Might let out a watery chuckle. It's been over 50 years, Nana. Really? Feels a lot shorter now that it's here. The 2 laughed through their tears as they continued to hug. All Might wouldn't lie, the texture of the Nomu felt weird, to say the least, but as long as it was Nana, he felt like it was something he could get used to. Eventually, the 2 broke up the hug, and Nana smirked as she glanced at her predecessors still wailing on All For One. Hey, Toshi, you want to help your master kick some 200-year-old butt? More than anything. That's for locking me in a bank vault! Yoichi shouted as he kicked All for One across the face. That's for killing all my troops! Kudo gear-shifted a large rock into his back, which shattered upon impact. That's for blowing up our base! Bruce delivered a Fa Jin-powered kick to the groin. That's for forcing me to live in isolation! Hikage stomped on his foot. That's for killing my Uncle Ben! Banjo strangled him with Black Whip. That's for kidnapping and torturing me. En karate chopped him on the back of the neck. That's for making me give up my son! Nana punched him in the gut. And this is for all the pain and suffering you've caused Japan during your pitiful existence. All Might reeled back his fist and sent it flying towards All for One's head. United States of Smash! All Might's punch buried All for One into the ground, releasing a large shockwave and leaving a deep crater beneath them. He stood triumphantly over his beaten body and raised a single fist into the air. Audiences across Japan cheered for the #1 hero. Welp, looks like the fight's over, and the newscopters are leaving. Plus, we have some time before the authorities arrive, which means, Kudo pointed out as he walked up to All for One, cracking his knuckles, it's time to finish the job. Wait, hold on! Izuku suddenly appeared between them. Kudo groaned exasperatedly. Ninth, please don't tell me you actually want to redeem this clown. What? No! He looked offended at the very notion. I just had a better alternative in mind. What could be better than finally ridding the world of the most annoying tumor which calls himself a villain? Just let me use New Order on him and you'll see. But I thought you couldn't do that because you didn't know what name he goes by, En pointed out. Oh, I figured out that a few minutes ago. Yoichi raised his hand to get everyone's attention. Think about it. My brother's a total Chunibyo, the textbook definition of generic big bad. There's only one name he'd willingly stick with for so long. Bruce palmed himself in the face. Oh my lord. It's All for One, isn't it? Everyone collectively groaned at that, earning quite the ire from the Chunibyo in question. Hey, I'll have you know it's a very good name that strikes fear into the hearts of... Have you even read The Three Musketeers? Yes, he said unconvincingly. Oh lord, just get on with it, Ninth. I don't want to have to hear this guy for another second. Alright, here goes. Izuku placed a hand on All for One and called upon his quirk. Every time All for One blinks, he will lose 10 quirks, except longevity. All for One's pupils shrunk. What? Every time All for One blinks, he will lose 10 quirks, except longevity. No! You can't do this! He began thrashing around wildly, but Black Whip held him down. I can't live without my quirks! What will I do without my powers? Kudo immediately doubled over laughing. Oh man, that's too much. This is way better than killing him. Ninth, you're officially the best one-for-all holder. No, I'd rather die than live a quirkless life. Please, just kill me. Tears of desperation streamed down the villain's face. No, I don't think I will. This is much more entertaining. No! I think this moment deserves to be captured on film. Banjo swiped All Might's phone from his pocket and began taking selfies in front of All for One's sobbing face, to which some of the other heroes quickly joined in. As Izuku joined in laughing over the symbol of evil's despair, he felt an odd itching feeling in his brain. I can't help but feel like I'm forgetting something. Is it your mom? Star asked. I still have to remove the teleportation order I put on her. Oh shoot, you're right! Izuku grabbed Star by the cape and booked it to the compound. At the same time, All Might noticed Nana gloomily separate herself from the rest of the group. Nana, are you alright? No, not really, she answered honestly. He immediately knew the source of her problem. It's about Tenko, isn't it? Yeah, Nana huffed as she sat by in a nearby rock. Toshinori sat next to her after puffing down to his smaller form. I really messed up, Toshi. You had no idea of knowing All for One would have found your grandson, he tried to console. You didn't even know that you had a grandson until very recently. Nana sighed deeply. I know, but I shouldn't have ever put my son up for adoption in the first place. I admit I was scared, and I made a brash decision. And in an effort to save your family, you end up pushing them further away. Yeah. Nana sniffled as a tear rolled down her cheek. Toshinori immediately brought her into another hug. But look at the bright side. You're here, alive. You have a second chance to try and make up for your mistakes. Maybe, but I don't even know what I'd say to Tenko. Heck, I don't even know what events brought him to where he is now. How could I possibly face him if I don't know the full situation? You don't have to do all that now. You both have time to figure things out. I doubt your grandson would be in a mood to talk right now anyways. You know, considering... Toshinori gestured to All for One, who the vestiges had tied up and were now beating like a piñata. Nana couldn't help but chuckle at the sight. Yeah, alright. I'll give it some time. Thanks, Toshi. Before Toshinori could thank her back, a yellow blur kicked him in the face and sent him sprawling to the ground. What the heck was that? Scolded Gran Torino. Why didn't you tell me you were fighting the symbol of evil? I was afraid you'd kick me. Toshinori rubbed the sore spot on his cheek. Oh, you better believe there's more where that came from. And on top of that, you go and have an emotional breakdown mid-battle? I thought I trained you better than that. In my defense, I was fighting the reanimated corpse of my dead master. Toshinori gestured to Nana, who looked at Gran with a vague familiarity. Sorahiko, is that you? She asked. Nana? Gran's eyes widened at the sight. Sorahiko, why do you look so old? The mood immediately shattered into a million pieces. Why do I look old? It's been over 50 years! Gran yelled with a shake of his fist. And besides, at least I aged better than you. Nana gasped. You take that back. I have at least 3 more quirks before I die. Yeah, looks like you traded your head for them. Gran pointed at her exposed brain. You're just saying that because you lost half your height. Seriously, where did it all go? Just because I'm glad to have you back doesn't mean I wished you stayed dead. It's great to be back. I really missed you. I missed you too. Toshinori could already feel the incoming migraine from having these two be in close vicinity with each other. Gosh, he missed that feeling. Okay, we're here, Izuku said as he dropped Kathleen in the room where Inko was previously held. Now, do the thing. All right. Kathleen removed the order she placed on Inko, who immediately popped into existence in the middle of the room. Mom! Izuku ran over and hugged his mom as tight as he could, geysers of tears bursting from his eyes. Mom, I'm so sorry about this. I didn't mean for you to get kidnapped. I was scared I would never see you again. Shh, it's okay, Izuku. Just let it all out. Inko slowly rubbed circles on Izuku's back as he bawled his eyes out. Now even he was aware of how much he was holding in up until that point. After a few minutes, Izuku's tears ran out, and he slowly separated himself from his mother's embrace. Mom, I'm sorry that I got you kidnapped. If I had known All for One was targeting you, I would have... Izuku, it's fine. Inko placed a comforting hand on her son's shoulder. You couldn't have known, and neither could I. Besides, Kathleen managed to get me out of there without a scratch. Oh, right. Izuku turned to Kathleen and bowed. Thank you so much for saving my mother. You have no idea how much this means to me. Don't sweat it, kid. It's what I do, said Kathleen. And besides, I think I owe a bit of apology as well. She held out a picture of her and Inko on their coffee date. I found this on the ground while you were hugging. I think this was a factor as to why they decided to go after you in particular. I understand if you want to keep your distance from now on. Inko took the picture from Kathleen's hands and hummed. You know, if someone like you is around to save me, then I don't mind getting captured more often. Really? Inko giggled as she brushed a lock of hair behind her ear. If it means getting more chances to see you in action, then I think I can handle a little danger. Kathleen would have used an order to stop herself from blushing, but that would have looked too obvious. But we should definitely take steps to make sure you're not kidnapped again, Izuku butted in. He hated interrupting his mom's flirting attempts, but it was a pressing issue. Kathleen nodded in agreement. Right, that's important. Thankfully, I have an idea in mind. Inko, would you mind if I use a new order on you? Go ahead. Thanks. She placed a hand on her shoulder and said, The next time Izuku Midoriya blinks, she will experience a quirk awakening. Great idea, Star. Izuku immediately pulled out a notebook and started scribbling. If my theories on my mom's quirk are correct, then this should give her the ability to push and pull objects of all sizes, essentially making her a full-on telekinetic. Wow, that's a lot, Inko gaped. That would certainly require some training. I'll have to sign up for a membership at a quirk gym. Kathleen did her best to casually strut over to Inko. You know, as a hero, I've seen my fair share of telekinesis quirks. I wouldn't mind giving you a little one-on-one training sometime. Inko couldn't help but smile as her cheeks tinted red. It's a date. Yes, said Kathleen and Izuku at the same time as they pumped their fists. Well, now that everything's settled, we should probably be getting home. I wouldn't want Eri to worry about me, Inko pointed out. Hold up, there's still one small thing. Kathleen turned to Izuku. Kid, you did good today, but legally we still have to punish you for going off to fight the symbol of evil without a license. Izuku visibly deflated as he remembered what they had talked about earlier. Oh, well, it was still worth it in my eyes, so I'm willing to accept any punishment you give me. What's it gonna be? Suspension? Community service? House arrest? Detention. Really? Yup, an hour of detention every weekday for the next 2 weeks, supervised by me, Kathleen said as the two of them sat in one of UA's empty classrooms. You know detention isn't a thing in Japan, right? Yup, but in case you forgot, I'm the American hero, not the Rising Sun hero. I don't even understand detention. You just sit in silence for an extended period of time. What is that supposed to teach you? Not to get into detention? You know what? Fair enough. A week later, David Shield watched on TV as All Might revealed his true form to the world and subsequently announced his retirement, citing health issues as the main reason. David sighed. Despite all his attempts to convince himself otherwise, he knew this was inevitable. Even with all the quirk amplification devices in the world, nothing could last forever. But as he thought about it while rewatching the footage of his final fight, he realized that was okay. All Might wasn't alone during that fight. He had Legacy and Star and Stripe by his side. As long as heroes like them were still around, he had a feeling there wasn't that much to worry about. He pulled out his phone and dialed a familiar number. Sam, it's Dave. Call Wolfram and tell him that the Island heist is off. We don't need the quirk amplification device anymore. All Might's legacy is already in good hands. Of course, David didn't know that Sam wanted the device for completely selfish reasons, and would still be performing the heist with Wolfram, but he'll probably figure that out soon enough. At the same time, Melissa Shield was also rewatching the fight on her phone, her attention particularly focused on Legacy. She wouldn't lie to herself. She was disappointed to learn that he had a quirk this whole time, especially one that made him as powerful as All Might. But even so, that didn't change what he did at the sports festival. He still managed to give Melissa hope for the possibility of a quirkless hero, and she would be riding that high until she either died or got a hero license. Besides, she had made so much progress on her hero costume that it would be a waste to throw it out now. It took her weeks to get those blasters to stop blowing up in her face. And that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. This was certainly an interesting one. It was just a collective, how many times can we just beat up All for One? Like, how badly can we beat him into the ground, and how much are we just going to keep doing that? Destroy his pride, destroy his body, destroy his mind, and destroy all of his plans. And that was wonderful. So thank you all so much for listening. I'll be back later with another chapter for chapter 14. I'll see you all soon. Patch out.